Season 1, Episode 2 of the CrwndCrane Mental Health Podcast. I'm here today with my very good friend, Anton Walters. Let's get straight into it.
There's nothing new or sharp about the cutting edge. If they build a wall, let's jump the fence, I'm over this. Cold stairs can never put the fear in me. What we built here is godly. They can't gentrify the heart of kings.
Hi, Anton. Welcome to the show.
Appreciate that, man.
So first of all, please tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us something positive that's happening in your life right now before we go into this sort of mental health aspect that we've come here to talk about.
Cool. So, first of all, thank you so much for having me on the show. Really do appreciate it. And just want to say it's just awesome they're doing something like this because people need a place and something that they can listen to express themselves and talk about openly about issues and problems they have. So, about me. So, as you already said, I'm Anto. Originally from Canada. So, that's why my accent sounds very, very offish because, like, I'm a guy who's been living here for like 20 odd years and I'm sort of like a hybrid of all the accents I've had. My background is mental health, so I currently right now work for the DWP and job center supporting people with mental health who are unemployed to move back into work. I've also worked for the NHS. I've also worked in inpatient care, elderly care, as well as with children as well. I come from having a psychology background as well as having a counseling background as well. Something really positive. Well, like you stated earlier, like I just got back from holiday. I got back from Gran Canaria. I was there for 10 days with my girlfriend. It was
nice. I saw the pictures. You guys were having the best time.
Oh man, it was awesome. It was like 20. It was either 24 or 28 every single day from literally 6 o'clock in the morning. You get up, the sun's already out, and it's just like amazing weather all day. Can't complain. And things like that. We were saying to each other when we were there, like, this is beautiful, like it's just gorgeous. We were just sat on the beach one day, like just nothing. We didn't have anything to do and we just sat down and we were just looking out onto the beach and we were just like saying how this is what life is about. Not going on holiday as such, but not having things to do and being able to just clear your mind and looking at, I said to her, I hit her with like a sweet line. I was like, look how it just, the water is just infinite. She turned to me and she was like, wow. She was like, this guy. She was like, waste man, what are you talking about? And I was like, look how beautiful it is. It just stretches on for so far. But that was a really beautiful moment. Oh,
that's good. That's good. So we're here to obviously discuss mental health issues and you're someone that's from a mental health background. So let's just dive straight into it. What's your personal experience with mental health? Have you been through any sort of mental health battles yourself? You know, we'll come to your professional, the professional side of your mental health experience, but have you yourself been through any mental health challenges where you've gone through anxiety, stress, depression, anything like that? Can you just tell us a little bit?
Yeah, well, I think as individuals, as people, I think we all come across something in mental health. And the thing that I always try to make sure people understand whenever I'm supporting people is that mental health is not good or bad. It depends on the scale. It's like a spectrum, just like you would have the autistic spectrum. You either have too much of it in a negative sense or you can have a really great amount of it in a positive sense. But the difficulty is when people have really, really bad mental health around it. So my background, like, around it is close to me because I've always done sports all my life since I was a kid. Since I was like in Canada, basketball, judo, taekwondo, baseball, pee-wee football, ice hockey, you name it. There was never a time I wasn't doing something. And then obviously came over here. I still did sports. I did sports at a very high performance level in athletics. I got to a GB junior level. So my mental health really came about in the sense of the performance anxiety because like with sports at that high level performing, you can be trained up great, you can feel great, you can be hydrated, and on the day you can just go out there and absolutely capitulate because you just can't deal with the stress and nerves. And I felt really, when I was younger, like when I was 15, 16, when I first started, I was bricking it every single time I raced. Even though I won some of the races, I still bricked it because I'm like, oh my God, like it's just overwhelming, like the stress of it all and everything. And I said to my mom at one point, like, oh, I don't think I really want to do it because I didn't like the stress part of it. It was never until I started doing it more, meeting more people and stuff like that. And I've always been a very shy, reserved guy. So I remember saying to you, like when I was younger, like you would never catch me talking to a girl on a one-to-one basis because I just didn't know what to say. My mouth would feel like it's got peanut butter in it. And it's not even that I'm trying to talk to a girl and be romantically talk to her. I'm just trying to say like, do you like Yu-Gi-Oh? Or like, do you like, what are you into? And I'll be like, like that. Yeah. And I used to always, I say to my girlfriend now, like, I don't know what it is, but when I was younger, I used to have like this inferiority complex. And I don't know why I had that, because there's nothing that made me, like, my parents were loving parents and they always made me feel like special.
Yeah, exactly. You can do anything. You know, I know your mum and dad.
Exactly.
You know, knowing you since we're about 12 or 13, so I can account for all of those things. You know, we're both quite shy growing up.
Exactly.
And, so moving on from that, going through that as an early teen, up until, I think you stopped doing your athletics around 19, 20.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
So in that time frame, did you ever go and seek professional help, or did you ever sort of go to your GP to discuss any of the issues around anxiety? Did you ever talk to your parents about any of these issues?
I never talked to my parents really about it, because I sort of I'm just a happy-go-lucky kid, so I didn't see that there was actually a problem or anything like that. I just saw it as like it's linked to my sport. It's not like mostly linked to me as a person. I think as I got older and I started being more confident, like I think what really, really helped me is not, after we finished school, not staying at Perryfields, not staying at school. Because remember the school started up and had its own sixth form. Everyone was staying back. And I think what really helped me is branching out and not going to somewhere where everyone else went. Because I think when I went to Starbridge College, it was like only maybe like 5 of us that went there. But no one was in my class. I think Aaron was the only other person that did sports, and he was in the other class, and it forced me to actually get out of my comfort zone and meet other people. Because I remember my mom saying to me, because I remember the first day and like no one talked to each other, and my mom said to me, but don't you think everyone else feels the exact same way? No one goes there and thinks that, oh, they're gonna be like top dog and stuff like that. And I remember just like saying to myself, right, if I don't talk, I'm never going to speak to anyone and I'm never going to have friends. So I started talking to people. But when I was doing the sport, I remember I was lucky enough, and this happens when you're, and this is not me being a braggadocious person. When you're good at something, people sort of give you a little bit more. So I remember having a conversation with my coach at the time, Lincoln. You remember Lincoln? And Lincoln was like a former GB international athlete. And Lincoln saw that you have the raw potential, but you need to mentally get out of your own way. And he sent me to see one of his friends who was the husband of a former woman who was the former world women's record holder for Great Britain for the 100 meters. And me and him just talked, and I didn't know at the time that he was a sports psychologist. I didn't know he was actually doing a psychology thing with me. He was actually asking me about myself. I thought I was going there just the fact that he was like talking to me about sports. And he was asking me about like, what are you doing at school and what do you see yourself doing and why do you feel that way? And I left there feeling great because I felt like I got a lot of stuff off my chest. And it was great. And that's the thing I would say to everyone, like if you do get a chance to speak to someone, even if you is in a small capacity. It doesn't have to be a GP or something like that. It could be your parents, it could be your best friend. Do speak to someone, because it helped me understand a little bit more about myself and how I operate better.
Because I was going to ask you whether you had any sort of stumbling blocks when you went to seek, or when you were presented with professional help. But as you've just said, you sort of answered the question as before I got a chance to ask it. It didn't feel like you were going to see a psychologist, or it didn't feel like therapy. You were just having a conversation.
I think some people are scared of that in a sense because therapy is sometimes like a very taboo word, like counseling, therapy, psychologist, psychiatrist. It makes people think that something is wrong with them. Like if you go to see your doctor, it's because you're ill. If you go to see a counselor, it's because people think you're mentally ill. No, people who have no issues or problems go and have a conversation with someone because it's important to do so. Something in my role now, there's a psychological term called transference. And within my role, because I'm constantly talking to people about issues and problems that they have, there's a high percentage of chance that I actually get transferred a lot of their mental issues and problems because you're talking to someone every single day about it. So who do the psychologists go to see? They go to see other psychologists. So
to sort of offload.
Exactly, you have to in that situation.
So I just want to ask, if someone was going through a similar sort of ordeal that you were going through at that age,
right,
but maybe without a Lincoln in their life, what would you recommend they do? What would be the first steps that person should take in order to get help at that young age? What would you advise?
Well, I think the first thing is obviously to talk to someone, and that's really hard because when you're young, I think it doesn't really matter what age you are, because I think even people older, they find it very hard to talk to people. People who are young find it hard to talk to people, but I think it is having the courage within yourself to realize that it's not a trait about you as being not capable of dealing with an issue. It's just an aspect of everyone needs support in some capacity. Every form of life, at some point or another, you're going to need someone to help you out in some way, whether it's the bank to give you a loan, whether it's your parents to help you to buy a car, whether it's your friend to get you somewhere or bail you out of a bad situation, whether it's a counselor, or whether it's your GP, or whether it's a psychiatrist, or whether it's you're someone that's close to you. I think the thing is trying to find someone that you not only may find elements of respect in, but you respect what they say back to you. And also as well, you feel comfortable, because it's the security aspect. I think people feel that when you disclose a lot of stuff to people, you feel very vulnerable. The analogy I always use to people is that, it's like a flower. When a flower is trying to bloom, it's at its actual most vulnerable situation because anything can come along and actually destroy it in that period of time. And I use that analogy with every single person I come across. It's like a baby growing up. A baby's so vulnerable when they're little, and they need someone around them to protect them until they're at a part where they can actually fully be able to protect themselves. And when you find someone who can actually let you offload stuff and you feel that right, I'm letting all this information out and I'm not getting something back, a feeling that it's bad, that I'm letting off, it's good that I'm letting this all stuff out. It makes you feel much more, because you can then grow as a person from that.
And so that was really great advice. I certainly agree with all the points that you raised. I think it's very important to get that conversation going and to get people talking. It takes a lot to even get the courage to speak to someone. But as you mentioned, speaking to someone that you can trust it does go a long way, because I think that's sort of the fear. I'm opening up a part of me. I want to be able to open up to someone that I know is going to sort of respect how hard it's been for me to open up and talk about this, this thing that's sort of affecting me or that's been getting me down or that's troubling me.
Definitely.
Without that sort of thing that I've now exposed to you being something that's now exposed to the world, or you know what I mean? So I think those are very valid points. I just want to now move on to just sort of that disclosure and sort of and opening up in general, and being able to trust in people. And I think we've been friends for a long time now, and I feel like I can talk to you about most things.
I hope so.
Just last week I had a bit of a hard time about my ex, and you're my point of call. And it's very therapeutic. But then rewind 6 months ago, when I'd just come out of a relationship, and I think we sat down in a restaurant somewhere, and it's just me having that conversation with Gary and his response. So I think there's always been this issue with our older friends. People tend not to talk to them or open up about their mental health because they feel a lot more judged. Whereas I don't feel that way with you, because we've established a good enough relationship and we're quite open with each other. But then there's the other aspect of it, whereas I couldn't do the same thing with Gary. So what do you think? What do you think that is?
It's everyone's different, and everyone's has different experiences, and some people who have maybe not have. I don't like to cast judgment on people, because there are people who've gone through issues and problems themselves, but they wouldn't be able to talk about stuff. Having gone through issues doesn't necessarily mean that you're a point of contact or a point of reference to be able to give advice to people. So it might be that the way that you dealt with it wasn't a great way to deal with it, you know? And vice versa. Just because you haven't doesn't mean that you can't give advice on people situations. It comes across as it just comes down to the person. I think what happens is being in school, if you think back to being in school, I don't recall ever. You know, when was it Thursdays? We used to have what do you guys call it here? We used to call it humanitarian. In Canada, we used to call it humanitarian.
Lesson.
Citizenship. Yeah. Was it citizenship? And that's when you learn about, you do sex education, you learn about what are you going to be doing in the future. Yeah. And I remember we had connections as well. Yeah. Remember Guy? Yeah. And I think Guy still lives around the corner from me. Well, I'm from my mom. Because I used to see him all the time when I used to go to the gym around there. But the thing is, I don't recall any point anyone ever saying to us about talking about your feelings. And I know that for a fact because I had a conversation with someone the other day about that. That's something that I would hope that schools are doing more, because there's more and more young kids who are younger and they're experiencing issues and problems. Yeah, exactly. And they don't know who to talk to. Yeah, but with social media and everything else as well, it makes it harder for kids. It does make it a lot harder. It's every teenager now has got a phone, got social media, where you're living a life where everything's rated, whether it's likes, comments, how many subscribers someone's got. It goes back to what you were saying earlier about when you were an athlete and the whole performance aspect of it. Yeah, when you're doing great, everyone expects you to be great. And it's no longer a popularity contest within the school. It's popularity contest within school. And now within the outside world with social media, this person's only got 200 followers. I can't really be seen with that. Can you imagine when we were in school if Twitter and Instagram was popping then? That would be, people would be done out here, because the kids who really found it hard socially at school, they would have found it harder. The kids who were popular at school would have been on another pedestal, just without us really even knowing it. Exactly. So, it does sort of increase the number of potential problems and potential ways of bullying someone. So you can only imagine school was stressful for us growing up, and we were only having to be worried about getting happy slapped. Having your lunch money nicked. Now school bullying doesn't stop at school. Oh hell no. You go home and someone's in your DMs or on your comment section. It's a whole different ball game now. And I think you're correct in terms of there needs to be more done to address mental health and ways of actually opening up. Do you know the thing is? I hope that, it's not that I hope. You ever watch that show, 13 Reasons? And I remember, that show's sad. But episode 1 up to 12, before obviously, no spoilers, before whatever happens. It's actually quite powerful, and it's actually a good rendition, because I remember speaking to my cousin who's obviously from New York, because I have family live in the States, and me and her were chatting about it, and she was like, oh yeah, those type of stuff did happen. The boys made lists about the girls, and this happened. She was like, that's a little bit overblown, but you never know. There's thousands of millions of schools. Of course, some that must happen. But you remember how her mental health depicted. I remember she had a guidance counselor, and she couldn't speak to the guidance counselor because the guidance counselor didn't want to get involved because he didn't know. And I felt for him in that show, because she didn't tell him and he didn't push. And then that's the difficulty in that situation, because you, as the person of authority who's supposed to be supporting these young people here who are very, very going through a tumultuous situation, you're not doing enough to push them to be able to talk to you. Because remember, kids are not going to go out of their way to come talk to you. Adults are not going to come out of their way to talk to you. You have to meet them. I was saying I meet people 50-50. No, in my job, I always tell people I meet you 70% of the way. I only ask you just to extend your hand, and I will take you there, and I will put you in front of the best opportunities possible, and I will get you to the point where you can take those opportunities. Because James and I on last week's show discussed that that whole barrier of you've got to want to be helped. Definitely. There's a lot of emphasis put on people not doing enough to actually help people, but there is a responsibility of the person that's actually suffering, in terms of, as you said, you meet your patients or anyone that you've assessed in the past 70% of the way.
there is that still that responsibility of putting their hand out and actually seeking that.
Oh yeah, you can't make someone what happens. Like when you see people who are recovering from, or recovering addicts or people going through rehabilitation, they have to want it.
Yeah.
You can put someone through that entire situation. If they do not want it, they will never take the opportunity.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. It's no different than in any of the aspects of the things that we encounter in life, and no different than any of the people we encounter in life. If you do not want the support, you won't take it. Yeah. It doesn't matter how I chop it up for you. It doesn't matter how elegantly I talk about it.
Yeah.
You got to do it. Like in my job is to get people jobs, right? That's the nuts and butter family. Is to get people into work.
Yeah.
The way around it is supporting the mental health aspect around it. So someone's got high anxiety and they find it difficult just to get up in the morning to go to do something. Someone finds they get stressed. I had one woman on my that I supported, bless her heart. She's in work now. It took me forever to get her to something. She was capable. This woman had like a degree. She had like 25 years experience. I just asked her, what do you think is the problem? And she's like, I think it's me. And I thought that's really good that she recognizes that. And the reason why she said it's me is that the moment I start working in a certain place, I literally just panic because I start thinking about stuff that means nothing to think about. Like I start thinking about like, what am I going to have for lunch? Well, how am I going to get there? The bus journey there, putting in my pin into work and stuff like that. I get stressed over stuff that is completely out of my control. And that's why I always talk to people about putting the control back into yourself and taking the control elements away from the stuff. I always tell people all the time, just take off the training wheels. You can't control everything to a T. You can't control what other people do. You can't control what other people think. You can't control what other people say. You can control what you do. You can control what you think. You can control what you say. Putting yourself in those bad situations. There's limits to that, obviously. Because, people have severe mental health issues, like thoughts, things come into your head without realizing it, if you're low mood. But again, it comes back to you gotta want the help. You gotta want to seek out the support from somebody, and it's 100%. The first step to get you there. Like I was just saying to you earlier, like if you want to start your own business, you have to think to yourself, like, right, how do I start? If I want to be self-employed or want to go do down this route, I gotta go seek out some guidance from somebody else who knows what they're talking about in that situation.
Yeah. So Anto, thank you very much for coming down and obviously
appreciate that, man.
Talking to us about your experience, your professional experience. You dropped some real gems today, and I hope all the followers really, really appreciate that, and you can all take something away from that. This guy has been my friend for about 15, 17 years. He works within mental health. He's gone through some issues himself. And just really listen to what he's had to say today. Thank you so much.
Appreciate that, man.
And I hope you've made a change to someone's day and you've helped someone actually take that step forward to seeking professional help. So it's time to answer one of your questions from Instagram, and this week's question comes from Councillor Archer, who asks, suppressed and repressed memories, how do we deal with them when meeting the standard mental health services? I'll ask that again. So suppressed and repressed memories and how to deal with them when meeting the standard mental health services, aka a licensed therapist.
Yeah.
So I'll just start with that one. Seeing as suppression is a way that I have dealt with a lot of mental health issues in the past, or any sort of anxiety or any sort of difficult situation that I can't rationalize or get my head around there and then. I do try and just suppress it and try and either become a bit of a workaholic and even with my breakup, for example, it took me to a low that I've not really been. So with my breakup, it took me to a new low. And to sort of get around that, looking back now, it was suppression. I made myself a lot busier, and just took on a lot of projects to just sort of keep my mind occupied, because you find yourself subconsciously thinking about this person. Let's say it's a particular time of day where that, or around about this time, I'd have been picking them up from work or would have been doing this at this time, and it just takes your mind to thinking about them. Of course it does, yeah. So, you try and fill your day with new activities and new things to do around that time, and sort of it's not addressing the issue head on, and it's not grieving head on, but it took the pain away there and then. So that that's just my personal experience. I don't have any advice per se, but you being someone that's worked in mental health, and obviously you were around me when I was going through other suppressed issues in the past. What's your take on Councillor Archer's question?
So first of all, awesome question by Councillor Archer, because that's one of the main things that you're going to go through when you eventually do go to seek professional guidance from somebody. Because that's what the main thing is in that situation. So one of the things that like I know probably a lot of people may know this already, was for people who don't, there's the theory of obviously fight or flight, and that's basically core essential human instinct in any type of situation. It's to literally either fight a situation, that could be physically, or that could be emotionally, that could be psychologically, or it's to flight, and that's to dip. It's to be like the Flash and go into another multiverse, basically. And things happen to our lives. I always say to people that experiences form our perception on how we deal with stuff. You need experiences to be able to show you how things will actually predict out and going out. You don't make a decision to do something based off of just that may happen now. You know, you do it because you think that will probably happen in that situation there. So one of the things that I would say with regards to that question is, so with regards to suppressed memories, that's obviously memories that you just bury down, and obviously like we said, like then like something's happened and like you've consciously said, right, I'm not going to even think about it, I'm not going to deal with it. It's the, you know, that the meme of like the dog in the room with the fire around it, and it's just the caption just reads, everything's fine. That's the best analogy for like suppressing stuff, like not actually being alert to think to yourself that it's not fine, and it's okay that it's not fine. I tell people that all the time. It's okay to not be okay. You don't have to be on top of the world every single second of the day. It's all right to feel crap. It's all right to feel down. We all encounter that. It's what you do with it. So when you do go to seek a professional, it's being open and honest. I always tell people you have to break the wall. You got to break the walls down like Jericho. You know, you have to completely submerge yourself, you know. One little nugget. So Black people can't float in the water, right? Swimming, like because bone density. And ever since I was a little kid, when I used to go swimming, couldn't float because of bone density. I went swimming out when I was in on a holiday and went out into the ocean, and my girlfriend just said like, "Oh, try to float." She knows that like I'm not good at floating, but she knows that salt water makes you float. I didn't know that. She knew that and didn't say it to me because she knew that I was gonna float. So when I just said to myself, right, if I die, I die. Like, you know, like in the word, like there's some really nice Spanish girls around. Someone's gonna save me. I started floating. I just said to myself, wait, I'm floating. She was like, yes. You can, salt water makes you float. Because all of my experiences before of me being at swimming classes and trying to float and literally just submerging into water. So that made my mindset think I'm never going to be able to float in that situation. So
it's really strange. I went through the exact same thing with Claude like last year. Like I've never ever gone swimming in the sea. Didn't fancy the idea. And I had to do the exact same thing, you know. So
But then with repressed memory, so that's when you unconsciously realize you do it because of traumatic experiences that may happen. So like that's where you're going into the depths of like people maybe you've come from terrible breakups, like you've done said there, been abused maybe in the past, had a really stressful situation, or like just something's happened and it's just switched something in your head and now you don't even think about that. But you don't realize you think about it. Like one of the things that I in my old job prior to this one, I worked with NHS. I worked as a clinical support lead, so I supported young people from the age of 0 all the way up to 25 before they go into adult mental health with issues and problems from a clinical sense. And we used to do a lot of work on anger management, mindfulness, openness therapy, and things like that. And I had a lot of people that they didn't realize that they had so much resentment or anger or emotional instability over situations because they never even thought about it themselves in that situation. So I always tell them that this is where you get the opportunity to relax, feel free to talk about those things, you know? I think you need a good You need a good therapist.
Yeah.
You need a therapist who can bring that out of you. You know, it's like when you're in a relationship and you need someone who can be your, you know, the Batman to your Robin, who can, who can be the person to bring those things out of you in that situation without making it feel that's been forced and extracted from you.
Yeah. I agree 100%. Well, thank you for you taking the question, and thank you so much again, Councillor Archer.
Awesome question.
Asking the question, of course. I hope we've, tackled it to your satisfaction. I didn't really have much of a say on that one.
Apologies.
No. You don't need to apologise. I'm not the professional here. You are.
Not professional.
Well, you kind of are.
Right.
You kind of are. But yeah, thank you so much for joining us today, Anto.
Appreciate it, man.
Thank you again, Councillor Archer, for your question. If anyone else has any more questions or any topics that you'd want us to cover, please comment on our Instagram page or direct message us, or even comment on YouTube, and we'll try and pick a few questions out to cover on future episodes. Thank you.